Like so many things this year, our observance of Ash Wednesday will be a little different. We're fortunate to be open at Holy Trinity. We have this enormous, gorgeous space in which we can worship and be together safely. And we will be offering services at 8:30 in the morning, at noon, and at 7 o'clock p.m. You can join us in person at 8:30, and you can join us in person or on Facebook Live at noon and 7 p.m. Also at noon and 7, we will have organ music and a soloist. We will be worshiping and gathering and praying this Ash Wednesday, but we will not be using ashes. We're following the Bishop of New York's guidelines around ashes this year and simply not using them at all. While some other churches are experimenting this year with ways of distributing ashes safely during a pandemic, such as giving individual packs and inviting you to administer ashes at home, or sprinkling ashes over your head in church at a safe distance, our diocese has chosen simply not to use ashes this year. In some ways, that practice might move us more closely into the spirit of the season. So often we take on practices during this season of Lent, such as giving up a particular food or drink, or perhaps taking on a new way of praying or a form of exercise. Those are all good things, but they also can sometimes move us even more into a self-centered and self-focused understanding of the season. When if we really listen to the scriptures and the tone of the day, Ash Wednesday is about opening ourselves more to God and God's creation. We hear from Isaiah God's words, "Is not this the fast that I choose? To loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them, and not to hide yourself from your own kin? Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly. Your vindicator shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry for help, and God will say, 'Here I am.'" Some of us will miss our ashes this year. We'll get back to them next year, I'm sure. But it does allow us to avoid that tricky question that many of us have on Ash Wednesday. Once we receive ashes on our forehead, do we keep them on our forehead as we go about the day, or do we wipe them off? Is it showy, or is it just the right kind of quiet Christian witness that can begin a conversation with someone? We always make our own decisions, and if you're like me, you're never fully comfortable with which way you've chosen. Well, this year, we don't have to worry about that question, but we can focus even more deeply on the words of Jesus in Matthew's Gospel. Jesus reminds us, "Whenever you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so as to show others that they are fasting. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Perhaps this year invites us to follow the scriptures, and especially the gospel, a little more closely. Normally on Shrove Tuesday, Mardi Gras, while pancakes are cooking downstairs, a handful of people join me out front, and we burn the palms from the previous year's Palm Sunday. From those palms, we make the ashes that are then used the next day on Ash Wednesday. We're not burning palms from Palm Sunday this year, and we're not making ashes for Ash Wednesday, but we did have some ashes left over from last year. And so what I'm going to do with them is to give them to the garden. As I've thought about this, in some ways it's a good image for our season of Lent together, that we might do what we can to be open to God, to other people, and to the church, that we might be deepened in our spiritual soil so that we could grow faith, hope, and charity. And may God bless us with a good and fruitful Lent.